Good evening, folks. I hope everybody's well. A little bit of the bad news: this stream is not going to happen as advertised, unfortunately. And there's been some technical issues trying to connect with John, and we just couldn't get it sorted in time. So we're going to delay until next week and do it then. So apologies for that. Honestly, not quite sure what we're going to do tonight, if anything, to be honest. I think probably just because everything's been thrown into something of a disarray, not by either of our faults, but just because of the way things are. It sort of started with me when I was trying to get OBS to do what I needed it to do, which was to get Skype to work with OBS without actually picking up the desktop. And then it's like it turns out that Skype actually kind of just only exclusively seems to play through the desktop. So the widget on OBS does not work to separate two things. So then I had to sort of run around for headphones and stuff like that. To put in underneath this like I used to. Turns out I can't find those damn things. So it's been one of those kind of things. And I've still got this echo in my head. So we've been furiously messing around with settings and stuff like that. So a whole bunch of stuff has gone a little bit awry. I've probably turned some sort of monitor on OBS or something. So it's been a bit of a game. One way or another, and unfortunately that does mean this evening's stream is not, at least not going to be what it was. Skype still exists. Yes, Skype still does exist, Captain. It's just one of those things. It's the way of me getting the video and stuff. So I can't think of any other setup that's going to work with my setup. So, but that's how it is, unfortunately. So hi Collector Adam, it will be next week at this point. And I'm gonna basically have to cut this very, very, very short, and I just wanted to come on and explain to you and let you know that why it is the stream isn't happening all of a sudden. Because there's a whole bunch of stuff. Stay away from Discord, Lampy, it will eat your brain. I could use Discord, actually. I do have a Discord. Maybe that's a way to go. Whatever it was, John couldn't hear me most of the time, and I kept dropping out on his side, so it would have been absolutely unreasonable and unfair to continue tonight. And he's a bit cut up about it, to be honest with you. He was very, very annoyed that things weren't happening correctly. So what we're going to do is at some point we're going to meet up, have a bit of a play on this thing, get it all up and running and working and stuff, and then we'll be able to do it next week, which will be basically this stream, original Night of the Living Dead and the remake of Night of the Living Dead, which should be a lot of fun. And I know John's really looking forward to doing that. He seemed so disappointed, bless him. So yeah, I'm sure he'd be extending his apologies, and I extend my apologies as well. I hope nobody's cancelled anything for this, because it is what it is. I do have beer though. I was well prepared in that sense, but I haven't had any at this point. Thanks for trying to sort it. Yeah, we were literally just till about 2 minutes ago, just before a minute before I started the stream, furiously battling with Skype settings and stuff, and I've got an echo in my ears here, which is really annoying. So I think that's probably actually I think I know what that is. Let me just check that. Levels, nope, listen. Let's take that off. There we go. Is that it? Apply. 1, 2. Nope, still getting it. Tell you what, sometimes it's just an absolute pain in the butt. Oh, there we go, it's gone. Fantastic, it was that. This is the game, isn't it? You mess around with all the settings and stuff like that, and then you change things furiously, and then you forget exactly what it is that you have, what you've changed. So what we're doing instead of movies, maybe a little group therapy. Let's not do that. I don't think you want to be in my psyche any more than I want to be in yours. I'm so sorry for this, everyone. Still pulling my hair out, trying to find out what the problem is. LOL. It's absolutely no problem, John. Absolutely seriously, mate. It's just one of those things. Something's just gone a little bit waffy, and there could be about 15 things go wrong with this kind of software, because it sort of routes around, and then it uses the same sort of pools of data. Say like the microphone, for instance, where sound comes through the desktop with Skype, which means it's a lot harder just to pick Skype's audio feed up. It's an absolute pain in the arse, and I've butted my head against this for years. But it is what it is. Oh dear, oh dear. Good evening, Simon. Just for those who are just tuning in, unfortunately the stream won't be going ahead as planned. Not quite sure what to do. I got a couple of. Ooh. Where are you? There we go. I talk about a couple of the films that I've watched, I guess. Extreme close up. Oh dear, what if we watch Ren and Stimpy instead? Tell you what, somebody find something really, really random. But yeah, we'll have fun with it next week. Once we've sorted out all the problems, I'll have a bit of a play on my end. I'm going to just blame it on Ubisoft because I was playing Rocksmith last night. But it seems to be coming through. I am coming through loud and clear, aren't I? Just so, just you know, let's have a chat and chill stream. Yes, absolutely. That's what we're going to be doing, I think, tonight. But that's okay. We haven't done, don't do these all the time. So, yeah. Tell you what, it kind of throws you for a loop when these sorts of things happen. It's a little frustrating. I'm a bit more used to it than maybe John is, just because I've been doing this for such a long time now. But yeah, you're frantically kind of messing around in the sound system. I get this at work as well, because my work involves occasionally stuff like this, but it's all technical, So and you're battering your head against the lighting board, the sound board, or something like that, trying to figure out why it's not doing what you want it to do, and then you just realise that you kind of tweaked something here or there, and it's a hidden little thing. And the trick with streaming is the problem with streaming is that it is a lot of things going on. People don't, if you don't do streaming with any kind of production value level other than camera, you talk TikTok style. There's a lot going on, especially when you're talking with somebody else over Skype, because you've got Skype going on, and then you've got to grab the video and audio from Skype, put it into OBS, you've got your own feed and own audio and all that kind of stuff, and there's all these things that have to link up. So it can get a little bit crazy sometimes. Oh dear. Yeah, it's good to see Simon here. Simon's been a little bit in and out of these things lately, been going off to see bands and stuff, which is great. I haven't been to see a band in a very long time, actually. I really ought to. I said to my friend, my housemate, because we were playing a bit of Rocksmith downstairs, and I said, so, I really ought to try, doing the band thing sometime. It's been a long time since I've done any of that. Then I thought better of it. But I do enjoy my bass guitar, but I'm not good. I'm not good at all. You'll find a problem in the last place you look there. Oh yeah, because yeah, thanks for that, Iris, because otherwise I'd find the problem and just keep searching for the hell of it. Who was it said that? Probably me. Oh dear. So I've been watching a lot of Schwarzenegger lately. Um, See if I can just quickly grab the ones I've got. I've shown you some of these before. There we go. And it's funny. It's funny because it sort of made me think about the whole kind of 1980s action hero sort of stuff. 1980s and 90s action hero stuff, and whole Schwarzenegger and Stallone battle. And, you know, it's sort of thinking about what it was that kind of, who was the better one for this stuff. And the thing is, it's like, Stallone's roles tended to be a lot very variable. Very variable. Kind of goofy, a little bit kind of sometimes really, really serious. When you kind of like looked at something like First Blood and stuff like that, particularly First Blood, not kind of the other Rambos. I mean, that was a very serious role. And he did Rocky, and he did bits and pieces like that. So he had some of the best roles throughout his film career. But a lot of the films weren't very good. I mean, you had stuff like Cobra, which there was something about Cobra, and that was kind of. I do remember it's camp as hell, despite trying not to be. And I don't necessarily mean in a particularly good or bad way. It's just a very, very kind of weird tone film. A lot of his films were like that. Whereas Schwarzenegger's stuff was pretty much straight down the line. I mean, there wasn't really much variety in the characters. One time he would supposedly have a Russian accent or something like that, but he kind of pretty much just played himself throughout the whole thing, same character more or less. But I find the films very, very fun. One of the weird thing I did find though is like I was a bit more kind of surprised by the level of the violence in it, in the films. I mean, I've seen them before. But there's moments in some of these films you sort of go, "Fucking hell," and I think Commando, particularly that one. There was really kind of the one scene which was truncated, and that was the fight in the garden towards the end when he gets to the tool shed, and I think there's a bit more of the scalping with the blade and the machete cutting the arm off. Are you talking like about a second? Maybe a second and a half, 2 seconds, whatever, of cuts. But the whole tone of that scene changes so radically with that. It's quite surprising. And considering how, I mean, I say Stallone plays camp stuff. This is really, really kind of camp as hell. It's this sort of hyper masculine kind of stuff. It's summed up by that scene where you got they're in the hotel. It's like she goes, these guys eat too much red meat, and it's like that's the tone of Commando, generally speaking, and it has that scene at the end, and the particularly the cutting of the arm, just that little bit of time, that second's worth of extra footage, really shifts it from being kind of like just a basic action scene to being kind of really quite nasty in some respects. It's a lot more brutal for it because it feels that much more lingering, and I actually prefer the cut version on it, just that little bit more, because it keeps it that little bit lighter. You get enough information, you know what's happened, but it's the guy kind of like falling back and like clutching onto his dismembered arm. It's like, oh, wow, okay. The scene in the tool shed where he removes a fuzzy wig with the circular saw blade. Yes, that's it. Yeah, there's a little bit more of that in the director's cut. It's barely a director's cut in most respects, but there you go. I wish they made a movie where Arnie is shot by a laser, then turns him into Shelley Duvall. Okay. But I got Predator on Blu-ray as well, which is, just a great film. Very solid. It's a real film of two acts, isn't it? Because it's like the surprising thing about that is how long it takes for the Predator to actually turn up, and it's not entirely successful in it in the same way as something like From Dusk Till Dawn, but it is. It feels like the movie's going down one path, and suddenly it takes a left turn, and just ends up somewhere kind of very, very different to where you would be expecting it to go. And I think that's what made the film so intriguing the first time around. You sort of get this idea of this somebody stalking them. You don't know what the hell it is until quite late into the film. But it is one of the things with the Schwarzenegger films, as camp as they can be. They play it as much with a straight face as they can possibly do so on some occasions, particularly when it's needed. It's generally pitched quite well. I think, I got that and I watched that as well. I watched that with my brother when I was up there, Red Heat. That's probably one of the weirdest ones in some respects. Because Jim Belushi, he's playing a very different film to Schwarzenegger. Although Schwarzenegger has the puns and all that kind of stuff, there's something about the way he does that kind of stuff that doesn't feel like he's going for comedy. You know what I mean? It's as cheesy as it is. It feels like the sort of thing that Schwarzenegger would say. So I don't know. I didn't hate it by any means, and it was the first time I'd seen it. Was just a few weeks ago, I guess. But it's all right. It's all right. It's worth a watch. If you like your Schwarzenegger, then it's a bit of a it's a must watch if you kind of want to see all of his films. Although there's some much more obscure and much harder to watch films than that. It's low tier Schwarzenegger, but it's all right. It's very enjoyable. So I got the Total Recall as well. I haven't got round to watching the Blu-ray version, but it seems to have a whole bunch of extra stuff on it as well, which is kind of cool. And that's an interesting mix considering the director. It's got a strange. It's trying to ride a strange line between being a cerebral story and accommodating Arnold Schwarzenegger's shenanigans. Because generally speaking, he's not, it's not to diss on Schwarzenegger, but, intellectual content is not exactly what you're expecting, generally speaking. That you would go to Stallone for on occasions. Was it Copland, which is a very thoughtful film in many respects. Like I say, First Blood, another one which is it's got a very intense story, very kind of like deep story. Not deep in particularly, like it takes a lot to work out, but it's trying to sincerely convey something. Schwarzenegger doesn't really have that much in the way of that kind of content. And it's partly down to kind of actor he is. He's not the most and it also it's going to sound like I'm dissing him. He's not the most skilled actor in the world. He's not like a Laurence Olivier or anything like that. Many actors aren't, and he's very much a character actor in that kind of respect. He has this look and he has this image, which is what his brand is carried upon, and he did very, very well out of it. He's made some which weren't so good. Was it Eraser? Was a bit of a bit of a weak film to say the least. I would have to watch that again though. They're re-showing the original Terminator at the cinema near me in October. Must go see it. I'm wondering if it's been AI upgraded. See, the original Terminator is an amazing film. Absolutely. I mean, it's ludicrous that Schwarzenegger is that character. In fact, that was the thing. I think Lance Henriksen was going to be, at least at one point, considered to be the Terminator because he looks more normal but threatening. But it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger is not the stealthiest of guys. he's a big slab of meat. It's like a huge guy, and he's not going to sort of mix in very well. But he did such a fantastic job on it. That's partly down to the directing, obviously. Them coaxing the right kind of performance. Because bear in mind, it was still fairly early in his Hollywood career. And you can't hardly imagine that role without Schwarzenegger now. To the point that they keep falling down the trap with the sequels and stuff of making it look like him. Which seems a little bit, it's at odds with the idea of you've got this infiltration robot, and it's basically like, it's the same model. They all look the same and all that kind of stuff. So it's like being attacked by a bunch of Action Man figures. It's like you get like watch out for these people. It's just like 90 photos of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Imagine if if in The Shining, right when Jack is threatening Wendy on set, there's a flash of lightning and she turned into Arnie and she beats her bloody palm. Yes, that would be fun. I don't think it would have made the film a classic. 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm not quite sure it would have scanned as well as a classic if that had happened, but it would be kind of fun. Lance Henriksen was given the role of Bishop, the android and alien, after Cameron recast Arnie as the Terminator. Oh, really? Okay. I was not aware of that. Lance Henriksen's just a wonderful character actor. A guy that can slip into all sorts of roles. And I think he's one of those rare characters that can be just as comforting as he can be threatening. One of those actors that can actually sort of pull that off. I mean, to some extent, Schwarzenegger can, but he doesn't tend to do it within a single movie. Yeah, so I've got this last one, which is Raw Deal. Definitely worth a watch. Certainly kind of like one of those. And another one that kind of surprised me a little bit by quite how brutal it was. I sort of forgot about that kind of stuff, because in my head it sort of. I must have watered it down somewhat. So I'm kind of watching it go, bloody hell, okay. Maybe I'm getting soft in my older age. I don't know. I shall have to test myself with an evening of Cannibal Holocaust or something. Watch Salo and see if I can, if I don't kind of react badly to it. Actually met Lance Henriksen, had photo taken with. Yeah. That must have been cool. He's looking very old these days, though, isn't he? But isn't that the way of things? Everybody's getting on a bit, to say the least. I mean, I kind of was looking through my videos, not watching them, but I was just I think I was just double checking how long it's been that I've been on YouTube. So I scrolled right down to the bottom of the list, and of course there's that thumbnail of me 16 years ago. 16 fucking years, dude. Or 15, 14. What is it? When did I start? Yeah, about 15. Just over 15 years. Yeah. So it's like, wow. Okay. yeah, things have changed a little bit. Lots happened in that time. And I've gone from making, what was it, about 2 or 3 videos a week to like about 1 a month at the moment. Speaking of which, I am actually kind of still, I am, hopefully tomorrow, I'm going to sit down a little bit and start writing up Eugene de Sade. Get a start on that. It's not going to be an easy one. I'm really going to have to kind of tiptoe around some of the subjects somewhat. Originally, Cameron wanted O.J. Simpson in the role of Terminator, but the studio didn't think he would be believable. Yes, I heard that. It's like, oh. Had Scared to Death come the other day. Oh, okay. Oh, actually, I mean, I've just ordered. This is one thing I've got to do. I've picked up, and I've started reading it, but I now own a de Sade book. It's a first edition, 1965. Obviously not as old as the story, but it's in really nice condition. But yeah. So I mentioned these 2 films the last time we did a stream, but I got I watched The Happiness of the Katakuris. It's insane. I don't know any other way to say it. Somebody kind of like said that, you know, Takashi is somewhat messy with his filmmaking, and I kind of tend to agree. Not messy in kind of like, you know, the practicalities of it, but messy in the kind of it's a lot of ideas go into it, and it isn't necessarily for the benefit. It could be cut back a little bit and made a little bit more streamlined, if you like. But it is an interesting film. It is very funny in parts. I think you've got to have a certain sense of humour. It's kind of it feels very very much like kind of brain dead sort of comedy, Peter Jackson sort of stuff in places. A lot of the comedy in it does kind of feel like sort of absurdist sort of comedy kind of thing. I mean, this film has like, yeah, it suddenly snaps into stop motion on 4 or 5 occasions. There's animations of various different types. There's singing. It's a musical, apart from anything else, at least in part, kind of a musical. And one of the parts, it actually has a karaoke kind of setup, so all the lyrics are on there, and it's doing the full-on karaoke kind of thing. It's a little bit bizarre. But on the strength of it, because it's actually quite an interesting story, the basics of the story is that this family moves to the country. They kind of want to like have a fresh start and run a guest house. You've got this lovely house. And eventually, it's like, because there's supposed to be a road being built through, and they think there's going to be a lot of traffic. Their first customer sort of comes in, basically kills himself in the room. And it's just like each customer, they go, oh shit, you know, we've got to get rid of the body. So, you know, we can't tell the police about this because we'll get a reputation, you know. So our first guest comes here and kills himself. So they bury the body, and then more people come and they die, and have to keep it just keeps escalating as it's going along. It's kind of crazy, but it's based on this film. It's sort of a remake, if you like, of this film. It's very, very, very close, which I haven't sat down and watched yet, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's quite a nice set with 2 discs and stuff like that. So lots of special features. Yeah, this one will be an interesting one to have a watch of. Korean, I believe, that one. So the Katakuris kind of dragged me in that direction. But I would say if you're going to watch either, watch Katakuri, The Happiness of the Katakuris, and you'll either be utterly baffled, or you or really, really, really enjoy it. But I don't think you'll kind of regret it just because it's a hell of an experience at least once to watch that movie. It's well out there. So if you can get hold of it and have a watch. I did get round to watching Bruiser. First time I'd watched it. I've been meaning to watch it for years and years, and it's been a little tricky to get hold of. I have to say, I'm not a big fan of this case that it comes in because it's so damn slippery. Every time I get this off the shelf, the stuff comes flying out. I mean, it's a beautiful case and all. It's just a little too slippery for the stuff that's in it. Showed it last time, but it's got, like I say, it's got the book and it's got the disc in there. Just a little bit of a handful. It's like wet fish. This thing. The disc is in the computer at the moment because I am one of those people that will take a disc out, put it in the machine, and then forget to take it out at the end. Then wonder where the hell it is, and then have to do that whole thing where you go okay, so trace it back through the boxes because you've taken another film out, and then it's so you go, okay, so where's the box for this film? Okay, it's over there. It's got a different disc in it. Okay, take that one out. Find that case. Oh, it's got another disc in. Find that case and sort of work your way back. One of those things that I have a horrible tendency to do. I try to be better, but unfortunately, probably not going to ever be. Oh dear. Had Scared to Death coming away. Yeah. Oh dear. But yeah. So that's more or less kind of like where I'm at with my movies and stuff at the moment. But like I say, I say starting. I've already started writing the one for Eugene de Sade. Considering I did a whole really lot of writing for the Salo analysis, and I managed to pick my way through that without too much of a problem. The fact that I'm sat here worrying about how it is I'm going to broach half the subjects in that film should tell you something about quite what that movie's like. So basically, it's Eugene. The story is Eugenie de Franval, which is the original de Sade, and I've got about 20 pages in, and it's basically there's a lot more preamble, shall we say, in the book than there is in the film, and I'm kind of like looking at the film and going, it puts a lot of context out there, because one of the weird things that happens with that with Eugenie de Franval, the text, is de Sade does this thing a lot where he sort of, his writing's sort of in the style of him kind of almost like giving a fireside storytelling. And I'm not talking about out in the woods or anything. I'm talking about kind of like, in a nice mansion with a roaring fire and a glass of cognac or something like that kind of thing. And it can be a little bit sort of up himself. Certainly with that one, considering some of the stuff that goes on in it, and it is can I even say it with it on YouTube in this context? I suppose what the hell? What if this gets taken down? Basically, Eugenie and her father has kind of groomed her from very, very young. As a baby, she was taken away from her mother and not reintroduced to her mother until she was like about 12, 13 or something like that. Much older. I think it was a little bit younger actually, probably about 8 or 9 years old. But this is sort of power dynamic, and this based on this kind of corrupted relationship that has been nurtured by the father, and she's ostensibly complicit in it, but you also have to take into consideration that that's how she was specifically brought up. So it's all kind of fucked up. I think I might have found the way out of the inn for the movie. And Franco's version does have elements of that, certain parts of that, but it's also sort of doesn't really give you the background necessarily. So I'm kind of sat there watching this going, I would say it's probably the most shocking of the Franco films that I've seen. One of the hardest ones to stomach, just because of the way he handles the material in it. But I've got to give it another watch, and see how, if I can kind of unravel certain aspects of it, especially in context of reading the book as well, which does help. But it always feels a bit weird buying the Sade books. It's like you kind of go, this is a book for a very certain kind of person. But there you go. Right. But aside from that, I can't really think of it, because I haven't really sort of prepared myself in the slightest for any of this. I'm not usually like heavily prepared, but I got kind of got thrown for a loop today, and it's nobody's fault. Probably my fault, if anybody's fault. But we will get that sorted out. But I didn't want to leave you kind of just cancel the stream and just leave you hanging. I at least kind of wanted to come on and explain what happened. But now I'm going to have to change the fucking thumbnail and the title and everything and sort all that out. But we will get it done next week. Should be able to do it next week, and I'll catch up with John and we will get everything kind of get everything up and running properly, hopefully. Because it was weird, because when we first started calling, he's saying I'm very quiet, and I'm checking all my mic levels. My mic level's pretty good at the moment. It certainly seems to be anyway. So I'm not quite sure what was going on there. So it was very quiet on his end. He had it turned up, and I've got all my bits turned up on this end. It's so complicated. It can be so complicated sometimes. It's one of the stressful things about doing kind of like streams with guests, is getting all that coordinated. Of course, over COVID, I did all that kind of stuff as well for the university. So I live streamed shows and stuff like that. It sort of worked. 4K version of Dawn of the Dead is wonderful. Okay. I don't really have a monitor that's capable of showing that, but Dawn of the Dead's such a great film anyway. So I'm tempted for a couple of seconds just to sort of like go, let's watch the super extended mall cut version again. I've watched that so many times with you guys, and it's great fun every time. Keeps getting funnier every single time, which is relevant because the new Beetlejuice film is out. I don't know if anybody's seen that yet. I'll probably try and catch it when it comes out on streaming, something like that. There's a few films sort of come out just recently that I would like to see, but I'm just not willing to go to the cinema anymore. I just don't enjoy the experience of going to the cinema, which is just such a shame for a film fan, isn't it? Really. But there you go. That's how it is. But I'm sorry if anybody's disappointed, but we will do it again. Do it properly next week. and I will try. In fact, actually, what I'm going to do, I think, is when I finish up here, I'm gonna rewatch the film, the Eugenie film. Actually, try to make something productive of the evening, and hopefully, we'll get to sort stuff out tomorrow. But John, don't feel in the slightest bit bad, mate. It's just one of those things. There's a lot of moving parts with these things. It can happen. But like I say, I just wanted to sort of touch base with you guys and make sure that at least you got to see me for a few minutes and weren't sort of just left kind of like, oh shit, the stream's not happening now. What the hell's going on? Because I do respect you guys enough to not want to do that. But we will call it there anyway, because I'm sort of a little bit struggling for subject matter at the moment. We will reschedule. I'll get it done. John will be here. He'll be loud and clear, and I will make myself audible to him, and we'll do it. A double stream of Night of the Living Dead versus Night of the Living Dead. I think it'll be a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've seen Night of the Living Dead, so either one of them, and I think I've only seen the remake twice. So it'll be an interesting one to see again. It's been far too long. I'm going to be interested to see how I react to the second one, to the remake. But for now, I will bid you a good evening. Apologies. Thanks for turning up, and we'll see you 8 o'clock next Saturday. We'll have a good time. Bring your beer, popcorn, whatever your poison. Take care, folks, and see you soon.